Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, here to bring you another episode review from Season 6 of The Loud House. Today's episode is titled, Lights, Camera, Nuclear Reaction. First we'll discuss the plot, and then my thoughts and critiques with my final score. So, let's get right into it. In this episode, Lincoln, Clyde, and Lisa have to find the missing nuclear reactor Lisa gave the boys for their David Steele fan film. When it turns out the culprit is Todd, who was still programmed as the villain intending to destroy Royal Woods like his character was going to do in Lincoln and Clyde's movie, the kids managed to reprogram him by having him reflect on all the happy memories he's had with them in the past, and they successfully shut off the reactor and saved the town from being destroyed for real. Well, that concludes the plot of the episode, so now we come to my thoughts and critiques. The moment I read the synopsis and saw it was going to be another David Steele themed adventure, I had some expectations on what was going to happen, and the episode certainly delivered on those expectations. The story featured Lincoln, Clyde, and Lisa tracking down a villain who had stolen a very important item from the heroes, and their adventure in getting back said item included going through some epic life-threatening situation. This is the same formula that was used in the episode Present Danger, and conceptually the main conflict to that episode is nearly identical to the main conflict to this episode, only this time the stakes were much higher if the mission failed. By that I mean the entire city would have been destroyed if the kids didn't shut off the nuclear reactor, something Lincoln and Clyde assumed was just a harmless prop for their fan film. Well, they said they wanted screen accuracy, and Lisa was able to get them a real nuclear reactor. Normally, I would question how Lisa could get her hands on such a dangerous device, but then I remembered she has connections to NASA and handles all kinds of dangerous chemicals on a regular basis, so her having access to a nuclear reactor doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Anyway, besides the kids having their near-fatal encounter with the robot henchman at the warehouse, some other standout moments included Lincoln and Clyde's David Steele movie and the family memory highlight reel. Collectively, both moments were visually appealing in their own way. The movie sequence looked very professional and had that cinematic feel of suspense. The film was made possible thanks to Lisa's technology, and surprisingly Flip, who agreed to finance the production in exchange for promotion for the food and fuel. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined Flip giving kids money, because usually it's the other way around. Now, as for the collection of past loud sibling memories, well, call me a sucker for family sentimentality, but I really liked seeing everyone except Todd as not just a robot or merely another one of Lisa's inventions, but as a loving member of the family. I mean, he even referred to the kids as his beloved children after his past memories overrode his evil robot programming. Seriously, this robot was the standout character of the episode, and he definitely earned that credit. It was his biggest role to date, and I'll be honest when I say I'm actually starting to like this robot more than I used to. This episode really shows how far he's come as a character since his debut all the way back in the second season, back when I thought he was just going to be a one-off invention and then simply forgotten. However, I appreciate the writing team giving him a bit more prominence since the 5th season and how he can have a more human side. He reminds me of Android 16 from Dragon Ball Z and even Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot, and I've always been fascinated about the idea of what is supposed to be an artificial being having the capability of tapping into a more personable and fun-loving personality. To be fair, that's how Lisa programmed him, and apparently she also programmed him to twerk while performing karaoke. Oh God, Lisa, why did you have to program him to do that? Nobody needed to see a robot pulling a Miley Cyrus. But anyway, because Lisa neglected to turn off the switch on Todd's neck, noting how his eyes continued to glow red even after the filming had wrapped up, her robot still believed he was playing the movie villain and was going to legitimately carry out the plan of destroying Royal Woods. He even went so far as to forcibly remove the switch from his neck so he could stay evil forever. I guess when Lisa programmed her robots, she never took into account the possibility of them going rogue. Seriously, Todd was able to convince her other robots to join him in his plot. That's oddly terrifying, and yet oddly intriguing. So after capturing the kids in a net, Todd showed them a playback of everyone's shocked facial reactions, something he had done to Lincoln earlier in the episode, and the kids used that playback feature to their advantage by having Todd replay past memories as their final request. Those good times he had with the family were starting to give him a major case of the feels, and that's how the kids were able to get through to the old Todd. It may have been a cheesy and cliche way of getting a character who had been under an evil influence to once again turn good, but it's all about the feels, man, and being overcome with feels works every time. Now, even though I like how the episode turned out in the long run, I do have two head-scratching moments worth mentioning. First, how could Todd be featured in those past family memories if he's the one who does all the recording? He wasn't physically seen in the real-time immediate flashbacks featuring Lincoln, Clyde, and Lisa, but he's physically interacting with the other Loud siblings when going through the family highlight reel. Unless Plus, the parents were recording the first 2 flashbacks and Lisa recorded the other 2, taking note on how she isn't seen in the flashbacks featuring aerobics and Lily's bedtime, and all the videos were later uploaded into Todd's memory system. This robot realistically should not have been seen in any of those videos if we're supposed to believe he recorded them all. There's also the scene where Todd informs the kids on who he thinks stole the reactor. He wanted to throw everyone off his trail by trying to frame Flip by doctoring the surveillance footage with a Flip hologram, but this particular scene is a little ambiguous. By that I mean Todd's eyes were black when they were supposed to be red, and he should have already been at the warehouse. I'm just going to assume the robot showing the doctored footage was actually a hologram like the one from Lincoln and Clyde's movie, and the real Todd took off with the reactor not long after everyone left the garage. That's not the official explanation, and it may have helped if this black-eyed robot joined the kids on their adventure only for it to be revealed the robot who gave them their earlier lead wasn't the real Todd. But my theory about the hologram tipping off the kids does make a lot of sense with all things considered. By the end, the old Todd came back, freed the kids who successfully stopped the reactor before the timer ran out, and everyone got to have a happy ending. Well, not everyone got to have a happy ending, but before I talk about that, let's get to my final score. Overall, despite the similarities the story had with the episode Present Danger, this was still a really fun David Steele-styled adventure starring Lincoln, Clyde, and Lisa. Todd got to have a more leading role, this time being the main antagonist. The consequences of not taking down the villain were much more severe this time around, and no matter how predictable it may have been to overpower the bad guy by having them reflect on past family memories, it's those very same memories that made me appreciate how far Todd has come as a character, now being recognized as the official, yet technically unofficial 12th sibling and third parent of the Loud family. I still can't fully wrap my mind around Todd's presence in the video memories, and if it truly was a hologram trying to lead the kids away from the real robot, but with the final product we were given, everything breaks even for what I consider another top-rated episode for Season 6. With that said, I give Lights, Camera, Nuclear Reaction a 9.4 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Lights, Camera, Nuclear Reaction. Before I go, there's one last thing I want to talk about regarding the happy ending I alluded to a moment ago, and it has a lot to do with consistency. The Steele-mobile in this episode is once again Lola's princess car, something that previously happened in the episode Present Danger. There seems to be a consistent running gag to all the David Steele episodes of Season 6, and that would be Lola's car getting tricked out for a spy adventure without her knowledge, and then she gets extremely frustrated after she finds out what happened to her car following said adventure. I'd be willing to bet anything this gag is going to happen again when we get another episode focusing on Lincoln acting like David Steele. I may have jinxed it having just said that, but with the kind of consistency between this episode and Present Danger, I'm definitely not writing this one off. But anyway, as far as the rest of the episode goes, what did you guys think of it? Love it? Hate it? Something you would add? Change? Keep it as it is? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest Loud House content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.